All right, yo, it's your boy Yoshikid Neo, and we're back with some D&D action here on the world of Boridil. But today's going to be a special short session because Martin was only one able to show up, so should be good. Lots of improv. All right. Excuse me. So, the last session, the party ended up taking a ride with Fredrag's father, Pyrith, into the mountains, or the Dragonrend Mountains, to go to the trade location that the Dragonborn have set up with the Kobolds. The reason the party tagged along was because they felt that before we go massacre these kobolds, just from hearing the goblin side of the story, we should probably go and try to make contact with the kobolds and hear their side of the story. Which, in all honesty, is good tactical planning. So, the party arrived without incident to the location, and after nightfall, the kobolds had shown up to make their trades. What the party noticed was that the kobolds were in fact difficult to trade with. They had brought a set amount of supplies that they were willing to trade, and I guess from what Pyrith had said, the normal amount that he brings is usually good enough for the amount that they bring, but this time it was only good for probably 2 of the 5 bags of raw materials. The party ended up pitching in to try to make up for the difference that the kobolds requested, and after a lot of bartering, the kobolds finally accepted, probably making out with 100% profit based on what they gave. So the party does realize that the kobolds are in fact being a little bit greedy, and they're not sure exactly why. After the party asks some questions to the kobolds, more of the questions that they have can only be answered by the chieftain, and they're able to talk one of the kobolds to go get the chieftain for a special audience. So after about 30 minutes or so, the chieftain shows up, and the party realizes from what the chieftain says is that the reason the kobolds started trade in the first place was to appease a dragon that lives in the mountains. And the reason that they have increased their prices lately is because a second dragon was born and is requiring the kobolds to also work for that dragon as well. So they have 2 dragons that they have to appease while trying not to get eaten. And in all honesty, the party comes to the conclusion that they're probably doing these they're doing these hard trades just to survive. It also sheds light on the goblin story that a dragon actually did attack the goblins, but the party is unsure why. Whether the goblins provoked it, whether the dragon felt the need to get rid of them, or maybe the kobolds somehow told the dragon that in order to get more resources, the goblins needed to go. That is yet to be seen as to why the goblins were driven out of their home in the first place, but what we do know is that the goblins are back, and they're ready to take back everything that they lost from the kobolds in the first place, and avenge their fallen ones. So after the talks with the kobolds were done, the party tucked in for the night and went to sleep. On the first watch, Jeff and his owl ended up hearing a loud roar coming from beyond the goblin stronghold. And in the second watch, Nishan and Akta also heard a roar as well, although neither of them knew that the roars that they were hearing were in fact from different creatures. The following morning, when all 3 of them had told the party what they heard, Fredrag jumped at the opportunity to possibly see a dragon, and said that they should go investigate, and the rest of the party agreed to it. So they made their journey to a clearing on the edge of the mountains, where they didn't find a dragon, but instead they found a manticore and its baby being hunted by 2 owlbears. Jeff tried to get the attention of the manticore in a non-threatening manner, but the manticore just saw food and launched at his owl, killing it. Well, not really killing it, making it vanish upon being hit by the manticore's claws. And that gave an opening for the owlbears to attack the manticore's baby, killing it in one blow. Then they decided to sit with some popcorn in hand as they watched these beasts battle it out. Um, but all the commotion brought another fearsome creature into the mix. A chimera had emerged and saw the two creatures fighting and was waiting for them to weaken each other. But then it saw the small party, or the party being of smaller size than it decided to attack them. It favored Nishan, for he was one of the first ones to land a blow on it, and it almost knocked him out, but it didn't before it died. The owlbears ended up taking little interest in the manticore that they couldn't reach and started to attack the party as well. And after everything was killed except for the manticore, from the bottom of the mountains at a blistering speed, a young red dragon, had appeared before them. This red dragon looked over the bodies and sniffed them and then said, "This will be my food. I will let you leave with your lives if you pay me tribute." And the party agreed to it, except for Octa. Octa gave very little to the tribute, and when the dragon demanded more, she replied with, "You have enough food that we have given you, and that should be enough." He gave her one chance, and one chance only, which she refused still, before he used his fire breath to knock out half the party and bring the other half near death. At this moment, the dragon didn't skip a beat and requested double the tribute from Octa, which she only gave half of before he said he needed more, and she refused. Jeff, not wanting to see his whole party die at this point in time, paid the other half, and then they made a hasty escape towards the edge of the mountains where their horses were tied up. They got everyone healed after diddle-dallying for whatever reason. They didn't want to use potions. Who knows why? Greed. And then they got on their horses and they ran like hell back home. Once they got home, they had told Pyrith what they found. He said it'd probably be a good idea to tell the council that there actually is a dragon, because no one believes it to be nothing other than legend, and that is where we left off. So, at this point in time, you guys are in the center square of the town of Irisk, and it is probably about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, because instead of setting off to town in the morning, you guys went about 2.5 to 3 hours north, and then you doubled back as fast as you could, so it's about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Is there anything that you would wish to do specifically?
I want to go talk to the council.
Okay, so you pipe up, "Hey guys, we should tell the council what we found." Inara sort of nods her head in agreement. Octa says, "But what is the council going to even be able to do about a red dragon? Did you see what it did to us?" She's talking to you, Fredrig. Are you there? Because I cannot hear you.
Hello?
Yes,
All right.
There you are.
I don't understand. I have no idea what just happened.
Yeah, that's weird.
Anyway.
Acta looks to you and says, "What's the council going to be able to do? Did you see what that dragon did to us?"
Technically, no. I was knocked out. Thanks.
She sort of, like, glares at you for a second and says, "Fine, let's tell them so that they can probably back out of this whole thing. It'd be for their best bet."
They should know regardless.
At this point, Jeff chimes in and says, "Well, we were caught off guard by this dragon. We don't know exactly how powerful it is, but I believe that if maybe we had more people and we combined arms, we'd be able to take it out if we needed to." At this point, Adeline goes, "Killing a dragon would be much fun, but very tough." Nishan kind of looks around and doesn't really say anything. He keeps to himself. Octa, Fine, let's go tell them. After you, Fregan.
Alright, I'm going to walk directly into the council.
Okay. So you walk up to the council doors, and as you open them up, you see a human male standing in front of Edisot's desk. You see that he's wearing splint mail. He's got a shield. His hair is cut pretty short, and it drifts down into a beard that is the color of red. So he's a ginger.
Good, he matches with everyone else here.
Yeah. As you walk in, you hear him and Edisot in the middle of conversing. All I'm saying, ma'am, is that we need a couple extra troops to help us unload everything and get Sisiege's people prepared. Can you not provide that for us? Well, I see what you're saying, but we're trying to prepare for this alliance/attack on the kobolds ourselves, and we just don't have the men to spare. I'm sorry, but... Oh, you know what? Maybe we do have the men to spare. Come on in, Fregan. Edisot beckons to you.
Hi, Edisot. Who is this? Is this from Sisiege's crew?
Yes, he is one of the captains. I guess he left a day earlier in order to find a suitable location for Sisiege to camp. As we make these peace talks with the goblins and eventually fight the kobolds, more than likely. But I don't understand exactly where you plan to camp. Can you relay this message to Fregan and his pals? Maybe they can help you. Certainly. You said your name is Fregan, correct?
Well, that's correct, but I didn't say it.
Well, nonetheless, the name's Phineas. Glad to meet you. And he puts out a hand for a handshake.
Frederick's gonna go ahead and shake his hand heartily.
Very well, very well. Who is this with you? It seems that I know most of you by name. I just never seen you before. Sisiege talks about you guys highly.
You probably would have heard about Adeline, Anara. Possibly Jeff and Nishan. I'm not sure. You definitely don't know about Octa. Octa's new. We just met her.
It's always nice when you can make new compatriots. Am I correct?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, they're good allies to have.
Yes, very well. Speaking of allies, we need your help. Mainly, actually, we don't need all of your help. We just need a couple of you. Are any of you good scouts? At this point, Anara and Acta sort of like chime in and they say, Acta's like, yeah, I've been scouting through these mountains all my life. And then Anara chimes in and says, I'm pretty good at the wilderness and stuff like that. I like it far better than the city. Beautiful. We could use your help in finding a suitable location for our camp. And I see you have 2 wizards as well. And both
Yes.
Jeff and Nishan sort of walk up and say, yeah, how can we help? Well, it seems that our battle mages need some help preparing some scrolls for the rest of our crew, as well as making potions and such. Your arcane abilities, no matter how great or I guess pitiful, could be of use. We also could use an extra healer. Is anyone a holy man? Adeline puts his glaive down and says, I'm as holy as they come. Very well. We will need you as well. And then he looks at Fregan. What is it that you do? I see you carry a sword and a lute. Do you sing songs?
I sing songs. I stab at things.
I do not think that we'll have much use of you. Honestly, you could just stay here if you'd like.
Suits me just fine.
Very well. Edisot, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Once again, and he taps on the map, this is where we plan to go. We will meet up in the morning again to figure out how we are going to talk with the kobolds together. Until then, I will see you. The rest of you, if you would please follow me, gather your things, and let us be on our way. So the captain walks off with your compatriots. and you sort of like, do you just want to let them just leave?
Just like wave bye. Have fun, guys. Make
As they
good
start to
potions,
walk,
Sean.
yeah, they're like, before we do anything, we're going to need to rest. It's like, yes, we've already made sure that the trail is pretty safe. So once we get back, we've got a small camp. We're just waiting for Siege's main party to get here. So once we get there, we'll rest up. And they all nod in agreement, and they say, all right, Fregan, we'll be back. Don't get yourself killed.
All right. Should be easy enough.
All right, so they all get on their horses and they ride off. And then Edisot turns to you. In all honesty, I see you as being one of the more useful ones. But that is his loss. It should be fine. What do you plan to do in the meantime, Fregan?
I guess I was gonna keep myself busy. I actually had something to talk to you guys about.
Very well, go ahead.
So you've heard about the legends and myths, right?
Of the dragon?
About dragons, yes.
Oh yes, of course. What dragonborn hasn't?
So I would like to I would like to motion to like my entire being right now.
I did notice that it looks like you caught on fire. What is that about?
So you know how we as a tribe have a bunch of red dragonborn,
Correct.
right? It turns out there is a red dragon, and this is the aftermath.
Whoa. Hold on. Back up. There's actually a red dragon that lives in these mountains?
Yeah, it was hungry.
You were almost its food?
A lot of things went right for us to survive that.
So what you're telling me is that a party of adventurers that are more capable than probably our whole army was bested by a dragon that actually exists.
You're not gonna like this, but it was basically no contest.
Oh boy, this changes things a lot. How big was it?
About 100 kobolds.
I've never seen a kobold. But if they're
It was fairly large.
very well, what would it look like compared to a wyvern? We've seen those before. You know that a wyvern is pretty much shadowed by the dragon that you have seen. A wyvern's still a pretty big creature, but this young red dragon was way bigger, probably by at least 150 pounds.
Yeah, those are fine, but I'm gonna have to say that the dragon that I saw was at least 150 pounds larger than those.
Oh my. I don't think that... Sorry, I got eggshell on my ramen. That wasn't fun. Crunchy.
Rip.
Well, if that dragon came to town, it would be able to pretty much do whatever it pleased here. It would be able to kill us all, maybe.
Yeah.
It would probably be able to take anything that it wanted, everything it wanted.
Yeah, that's another problem. As it turns out, the dragon is directly related to the kobolds, as that's why they want their being so aggressive with their trades.
Interesting.
To appease the dragon. Another thing. I'm not 100% sure how reliable this information is, but given the fact that the dragon actually exists, apparently there's a larger, more sleepy dragon inside of the mountain.
There's a second dragon, and at this point she has both hands on the desk and is standing up. You can see the fear in her eye. How big is this one?
It's apparently the thing's mother, so...
So probably bigger then.
I would assume so. It's
At
Yeah.
least the same size, no doubt.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to fight that again either. It was great seeing it, but
Oh,
I
I'm
wish
sure
we
it was a sight to behold. You don't see many dragons these days, not after the Great Dragon War back in the day. You've heard the legends. You
have,
would have heard the legends of the Great Dragon War. It was probably
have
before Negex's time.
as we have all.
Yeah. Just to think that they actually exist, though, still. This means that there could be other dragons. Not necessarily in the Dragon Rin Mountain, but maybe in the Thunder Mountains
I was
to the
wondering.
west or something. There could be a sea dragon somewhere in that. Oh boy, there's so many things.
I was actually wondering about that, given I'm blue.
Yes, you are blue, and although it's not unheard of for Dragonborn to be born based on the shade that a dragon within a certain distance of the clan is, normally the chances are very slim, especially if two red Dragonborn give birth to another color. But the fact that your parents bred and your whole family is blue, that must mean there is a blue dragon at least somewhere in this world. It has to be. The odds of your whole family being blue and no red at all is, especially with a red dragon being present, there must be a blue somewhere.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, but I didn't want to push my luck at that point.
It makes sense. It seemed. Wait, were you able to communicate with it? I
it's
know
code,
they
yes.
are. I know they are intelligent beasts, but I don't know how young or how old they have to be before they develop their speech.
It was able to speak. That's how it demanded that we give it money and various items and whatnot in
Interesting.
exchange for our lives.
So that also explains exactly like you said why the kobolds have been increasing the amounts that we have to trade with them to get what they want. It also makes sense why they only give us raw materials and they still request for, after those materials get made into other items, like jewelry and such, why they request it back in trade. This is not good for Drake. This is not good at all. Have you told anyone else in town?
I told my father.
Makes sense. I would hope that your family is transparent with each other. If you could, please do me a favor. Go find your father real fast. Tell him not to speak a word with this to anyone outside of your family. If he hasn't told your family, keep it a secret until I figure out with the rest of the council what to do. I will have to hold an emergency council meeting and we'll have to figure out our next course of action. Do you happen to know where it lives? Or did it find you?
It found us.
That is most disappointing. Go find your father and then come back here so that you can explain the story to me better and the rest of the council, if you would.
Alright, yeah.
Okay. I will see you in a few. Jurum Simoth!
Alright.
You can, and then as you start to walk out the door, they come out of their areas, their offices and whatnot. I have grave news, and then you shut the door, and you can hear murmurs and stuff. As you're walking away from the council doors, you can hear a what coming.
Do I recognize that was Jerome?
You do.
Okay.
It was a nice deep voice. So at this point, you would know that your father would be unloading all of the goods and stuff, like on the back side of the trading area.
Okay.
So
Well, I'm gonna go over there.
Okay. So you walk past all the trade stalls. Your armor is still charred from the fire attack, and some of your clothing is cindered as well. None of the Dragonborn seem to take too much notice as to where it came from. They kind of look at you, and they just assume that maybe like another Dragonborn was making, an attack on you or something.
On the way there, I'll prestidigitation myself as clean as possible.
All right, so you're able to clean up a lot of the soot and ash that is left on your clothing. Most of the black cindered portions of your leather armor you're able to make a little bit lighter, but you can still tell that there's a difference in color. You're not able to mend your clothing, like the cloth portions that remain, but you are able to make them look like they've just been tattered and they're old or something like that. So you do that as people start giving you weird looks, and then once they see that you've cleaned yourself up, they pretty much mind their own business and keep going about their trading and stuff. Ahead of you, you see your father unloading the goods that he got from the kobolds, and the various traders that need the materials coming up and grabbing the sacks that are meant for them.
All right, so as I walk up to my father, I'm gonna do a little motion and conjure a mage hand, start helping him unload.
All right, so you see him, and he's sort of struggling because it's all raw materials. Your mage hand comes up and helps to lift it up just a little bit.
I would also come.
Okay, gotcha. So your mage hand comes to the top and sort of lifts it up, able to help carry just a bit, and then you help him unload. Oh, that helps my back, son. Thank you very much.
No problem, Father. Edisot wanted us to come to the council for a brief meeting.
Oh, very well. Does this have to do with your recent run-ins with
Encounter? Yes.
And you sort of stop him short, and oh, I understand. Let us go. If the rest of you could please just unload this the rest of the way, I'll be right back. I have urgent matters with the council. Sorry. No reason to be sorry, Pyrith. We got this. Thank you for being so understanding. Let's go, son. And he sort of walks behind you as fast as he can. You can definitely tell that age is starting to get to your father. His he's still able to walk perfectly normal. It's just a lot slower than you remember when you were a young one. As you guys approach the council chambers, you open up the door, and all the speech that you heard as you were walking up instantly goes to silence as all the council members look in your direction to make sure that it's no one else that would overhear this conversation. If you could go ahead and close the door behind you and enter.
All right. I go ahead and close the door behind me and enter.
All right, and Pyrith is there. Council, you said you needed to speak with us. Yes, Pyrith, it has come to our attention, for Drake has told us, that we are in fact dealing with a red dragon that has been roaming these mountains, and we've never seen it before until your son himself has seen it. And judging by the way his clothes looked before he even left, I think we've got grave matters to deal with. He said that he has only told you. Have you told anyone else? Well, no, ma'am. I didn't feel that it was my information to sell, so I've kept my mouth shut until I got home, I would more than likely tell the family. Well, that is why we need you here for a moment, is to make sure you don't tell anyone outside of this room. We need to keep this under wraps, mainly because we don't need a mass panic that a dragon could come and kill us all. Very well, but do you not think we could take it? I understand that it is far stronger than any of us alone, but with all our powers combined, I would think that, it would not be able to take on a whole city. At this point, Jurum looks over and he says, I agree with Pyrith there. We should probably take the fight to the dragon. Can you imagine the Dragonborn slaying a dragon? Oh, the stories that would be told over the whole continent.
Oof.
At this point, Edisot kind of looks a little annoyed, and she says, Jurum, I don't think you understand the severity of the situation. Do you remember when the orcs attacked? I will never forget that day. And do you remember exactly how many of our people were able to fight back without dying? Really just for Drake, actually. And you think that a dragon wouldn't be able to take us on? I'm sure they barely made it out with the skin of their teeth. She looks at you
This
for
is
confirmation.
true. I actually, it blew fire breath at us, and then I woke up in the hands of Jeff, bringing a potion down my throat.
So it almost killed you, is what you're saying.
Yes.
You feel your father's embrace from behind you. He gives you a large hug. Son, I did not know it was that bad.
It's something.
You try to somewhat move away, but he will not let go.
Well, while he's doing that, I'm going to healing word myself. Just gonna
Okay,
mutter
Ducky.
a little bit.
Go for it. So Pyrrhus sort of looks down and he says, "So, what you're telling me is we have two options. We either seek out this beast and figure out what it wants from us to leave us alone, or we let it kill us." Edisot looks up and she says, "Well, I guess there is a third option. We could all die trying to fight it ourselves as well. Maybe Siege could help us, but I do not know."
There are a few options. As I recall, Siege had his. If I recall correctly, Siege has his own personal party of adventurers. When we met them, they were of similar strength to us.
Correct.
But I'm not sure what they've been doing since then.
What up, Reed?
Not much. Yeah, but D&D.
We are. We're just doing a one-on-one because everybody else had to go already. So we're just moving some personal plot stories along. Anyway, continue, Martin.
Yeah, they were fairly competent. I don't think, I'm not sure if doubling the size of people as strong as us is going to make much of a difference against a dragon, but it's something. There's also something that the leader of the goblins told me about their strategy.
Oh, and what strategy is that?
About a month ago, maybe just a few weeks. Kind of hazy, but we had an encounter with a hag in the Black Marsh Mire.
Bleakfen Mire.
Bleakfen Mire, to the northeast, far to the northeast across the sea. And apparently she made an amulet for them that she claims can control a dragon. And that's how the goblins were planning on taking out the kobolds, with or without anyone's help.
Interesting. So they plan to control the dragon with this amulet. And then they plan to
That's their
just use
idea.
the dragon just to take out the kobolds? After that, what?
The leader of Roz says that they just want their home back. I haven't been able to figure out if he has any other motives, but that's just what he says. Right now, the amulet would probably be our best hope. If we had to come to conflict with the dragon itself, of a physical sort. Probably the second best hope would be joining up our three armies against it, and its mother if it decides to wake up.
Well, this information is great. It will help us with our negotiations with the goblins themselves, as we have not come to terms with them, for we have not met with them. But I believe we will be meeting them tomorrow at some point once Siege gets here. So we can bring that up, and hopefully this Vraz character that you speak of would be willing to get rid of the dragon, or at least make sure that it's under the control properly and does not just go on a rampage of sorts. Because I fear that whatever magic this amulet holds, obviously the wielder would call the shots, and if Vraz is not intent on letting anyone leave alive, well, then I feel we're all doomed.
It's perfectly plausible that he just takes the dragon's power and turns it on all of us. That's true.
Jurum looks at you. Maybe we should take out this Vraz character while we can, when he least expects it. Do you have a way of meeting with him?
Technically, yes, I think.
If I send a small squad with you, would you? And then, depending on the numbers that he brings, we can take him out and take that amulet? I guess a better question. The last time you spoke with him, did he even have it on his person? Did you see it?
I don't know.
Because I could think, that wouldn't work. Why would he bring an amulet of great power with him to an ambush? He would hide it somewhere until he's ready to use it. That's what I would do anyway. My plans suck. Never mind. Adesat sort of smirks. Anyway.
If only you had your tactician with you.
Don't
Shazir,
talk about Shazir. He's a traitor.
You know, I have seen him.
I believe you did
We
tell
already
them
talked
that.
about this?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
That's why he said what he just said.
Okay, I was thinking. So I was wondering. I was like, I don't remember.
I'm sure he has his reasons, but he should tell somebody instead of just making things happen. Nimrod would probably still be here, in all honesty. No offense.
It's fine.
So at this point, Edisot sort of looks around, and she could tell that the essence of the room right now is pretty gloomy. Well, how about we all just go and get a good night's rest, and hopefully in the morning we can figure things out. Jurum, I would like to speak with you privately after everyone leaves. He says, yes, ma'am, we can talk in my office. And he goes ahead and departs. Simoth gathers her things and says to everyone, good night, everybody. Hopefully you can get some sleep. And she sort of pats you on the shoulder and walks out. Brinnery does the same thing, kind of. He says, until tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. And then he walks out. And your father, well, will you be staying with us since your friends have gone?
Yeah, just give me a moment.
Very well. I will see you at your home. We plan to have dinner, your favorite actually, so that should be a good treat.
Yes.
A rabbit stew was always your favorite.
That's not...
And then he sort of walks out. What would you like to do?
I'm going to walk outside real quick,
Alright.
just to make sure that everyone has gone.
You walk outside. At this point, it's probably around 5:30, almost 6 o'clock, somewhere in that time frame. The trade center, you can see that a lot of the tradesmiths that actually use the raw materials are getting things ready for crafting in the morning. The rest of the trade stalls are starting to close up. The town is pretty, there's a lot of movement going on, especially in the town center. But you look over and in the woods, there's not really anybody over in that area. So if you wanted to be alone, that would be the spot.
Okay, so I'm going to cast Enhance Ability on myself,
All right.
or advantage on dexterity checks.
Cool.
So that applies to, stealth, yeah?
Yes.
I'm going to
believe
stealthily
that's-
walk back inside.
All right. Let me make sure, because let's see. Let's see. Choose one of the following. There's Cat's Grace.
Yep.
Yeah, so anything that's dexterity, you'll have advantage. So, alright, so you're going to walk back inside. Go ahead and roll a stealth check. It'll have advantage. Okay. So you open up the door and you swing it open just a little bit to make sure that no one is in the main area. As you peek inside, the room is well lit like usual, and the door that goes to Jurum's office is closed. You open it up even further and slip inside, and you close it right behind you without a hitch. You then scurry your way over very quietly towards the outer portion of the door to Jurum's office. How do you want to listen in on their conversation?
I'm going to put my ear up to the door.
All right.
Try to.
Roll another stealth check for me. Okay, so easy enough. You're able to place your ear. You've got decently good balance. You remember yourself sneaking around your home as a kid, trying to hear what your parents were talking about for
The last time I did this.
for your birthday as a child, like what kind of gifts you were gonna get and stuff like that. And you remember being very good at it, so you're very good at it now. So you put your ear up against the door, and you can hear inside, Jurum, do you really think that your men would be able to stand up to a dragon? Honestly, ma'am, I doubt they could. I feel that they would tuck tail and run at the sight of a dragon. Most of the men are cowards. That's why we were not prepared for such an invasion. In all honesty, since we've been so busy with trade, we haven't had the time in order to properly train. But I do feel that there would be a good handful of them that would stand up to a dragon if they knew what it would cost them had they not. In that case, with the aid of the party's help, and hopefully Siege, maybe the goblins, we should be able to take down the beast. If not all of those things happen, I do not believe Irisk on its own can stand against a dragon. That's what I was afraid of hearing. If it was able to take them out with a single breath, imagine how many lives it would claim of our people. Our people are not as hardy as those adventurers. No, ma'am, they're not. Hell, I don't even think you or I are that hardy. Cut yourself some credit there, Jurum. You're the strongest of the clan. I am strong, but I'm not that tough. Do you snicker at this comment?
No.
Okay. Anyway, do you think that we would be able to send Brinnery and some people to try to find the dragon? Maybe there's some way to track down from where it last ate. The party knew where it was. Maybe Fredray could help. It's very possible. I think we should talk with Brinnery about that. And if he's able to do something, then we'd be able to get Fredray to show us where they met this dragon.
So I'm gonna go ahead and start walking out at this.
Okay. One final stealth check. Oh, that's funny.
I'm going to lucky that.
Hey, there you go. You seemingly don't even touch the ground as you try to escape. It's almost as if you're being lifted by the air, you're so quiet. But you're able to open up the door, carefully open it, and bring it shut behind you, and then you walk down the stairs. Now you're in the center of the council chamber, or the center square of the town. You look back at Jurum's window, and you can still see them talking as if they haven't noticed a thing. What would you like to do?
I guess I'll go back home and eat.
Okay. So you walk on home. As you're walking, you hear a familiar voice in your head. So, Drake, how do you feel about that dragon almost killing you?
I'm gonna try to speak to him with my thoughts.
Alright, so you go ahead and think to yourself.
Well, that was terrifying.
Very much so. I'm glad you've also figured out that you don't have to actually speak to talk to me. That should make things a little less weird around your fellow companions, huh?
Yep.
Drake, do me a favor. Close your eyes.
Okay. I'm gonna like lean against the wall first.
Okay, so
Close
you
my
lean
eyes.
against the wall, make sure you have your balance, and you close your eyes. After a moment, you sort of hear a gust of wind. You can go ahead and open them now.
Alright.
And as you open your eyes, you see the black dragonborn standing in front of you, purple eyes fixated on you. I feel like this would be a little better than now that you are alone. Although no one else can see me, so it might still be weird if someone passes by and they see us conversing. You talking to yourself. I don't know how that would go. Nonetheless, that dragon was
Can you
pretty
still hear my
terrifying.
thoughts?
Yes, he can.
Yeah, did you see anything after I was knocked out?
Well, unfortunately, I saw everything. I lived through your sword as well as your body, so once your body fell unconscious, I made sure to look through your sword, and most of your friends, they were fairly injured themselves. I feel like you guys got lucky on getting out of there alive. Had luck not been on your side, you guys would be in the belly of a dragon right now. Which also means I would be in a dragon's horde, for I lived through your sword. So, to luck. Sort of puts his hand up as if he had a goblet and he was toasting to luck, even though he has no goblet. So, what are your thoughts? How do you think you should go about this dragon thing? I don't know, based on what I've heard from Roz, if he would be willing to give that amulet up, and if you don't feel you can trust him, the best course of action would be to take him out, honestly, and take the amulet from him by force. Or to steal it. Your tiefling friend is pretty crafty with her hands.
She fooled her the first time.
Very true, that's very true. Actually, he wouldn't know that, so... Oh, how did she do this?
She was actually able to craft a replica of the amulet. He didn't notice a thing.
Huh. Very uncanny indeed. Seems she's pretty gifted.
Only she would apply it.
Yeah, true point. She seems fairly silent and follows around instead of leads from the shadows. Maybe you could bring this up to her.
Maybe.
Well, what do you think you can do about this? Have you ever thought of maybe trying to go find the dragon on your own? Maybe you could parlay with it somehow.
Parlay with a dragon? How am I
Yeah.
supposed to get out of there alive?
Well, your loot of Jimi Hendrixon is pretty neat. Maybe it also
Maybe
has
it's-
a taste for finer goods, such as art. You do have a wonderful talent. Or perhaps you could
Things.
grab some nice shiny items and appease it that way. It could be an ally, or it could be your final mistake.
I could try going to talk to it. I have the loot, my other loot, actually. I don't know. I have some money. Money's always good.
That is
Right, it's
true.
like
From
money
what I
all day.
saw, is he really liked all the gold, so it's probably the amount of shinies. Gold being so small, is able to fixate the quantity and the quality that he desires.
Do you think I can find it?
It's possible. I don't think it would be hard. If you go to a giant beast carcass, it's probably hungry. The only issue is you have to find a giant beast and slay it. That I do not think I have been able to unlock that power within you on your own. But you could certainly try.
You know what?
What's that?
If it's just one, I think I could take it. It's just one owlbear?
Very true. Should we rest up though? You still
Yes,
look
let's-
pretty battered.
Let's go ahead and rest up first.
Very well. And he sort of snaps his fingers, and you watch as his whole form sort of turns into a smoke and then wisps off into the wind. Yeah, go ahead and lead on for Drake.
Well, let's go eat some dinner. Very gold.
Okay, so as you start to walk towards your home again, as you walk in, the smell of rabbit stew fills your nostrils. Knowing that it isn't actually your
Is it?
favorite,
Is it actually rabbits?
it is actually rabbit stew. Ah, Drake, the huntsman found a couple giant rabbits hopping about a couple days ago, and they brought back plenty, so they gave us some of it, and we're making rabbit stew. You used to love rabbits. I'm sure they taste delicious. Here's a bowl for you.
Okay. Sure. I've never eaten rabbit before, I don't think.
Actually, no Dragonborn really has. We usually eat fish or other large beasts like elk, but, oh well, I guess when you have giant rabbits that are bigger than elk, you go with that. Your sister is nowhere to be seen. Your brother sits down next to you, and your mother sits across from you, so it is just the four of you tonight, as you all sort of slurp your soup, eat your bread. Is there anything you specifically would like to talk about with your family, or do you want to just skip to the next
Just
day?
a second. Just a second, Brady.
Yeah, go for it.
Jeff was just telling me that he was getting a ride back to his house,
Okay,
which is an hour away, so that's kind of weird.
interesting.
But it's fine. I have
Oh,
no
was he
problem.
waiting for you?
Yeah, but we had already talked about this earlier.
Okay,
And I
gotcha.
think, and Zach's actually just gonna go with him anyway to hang out. That's what I'm gathering.
Right on. Because if you need to go, then you can go, and then we can start this back up once you get home? Question mark.
It's fine.
Okie dokie.
I'm an independent person that has a car.
Oh well, there you go. That makes sense too. All right. So yeah, you ready then?
Yeah, where were we?
You're eating rabbit stew, and we can either, for the sake of brevity, go ahead and skip to where you rest and go to the next day, or You can talk with your family if you would like.
I'll talk with my family.
Alright.
So how has everyone been doing? I gather that Jero has been busy. I haven't heard much about Yilber.
Oh, Ilber. Well, you know your brother. He is the strong-minded. And, well, what have you been up to lately? Not much. I've really just been working in the mines, trying to become able-bodied as well. I'm thinking about joining the military. What? The military? Yes, Dad. I thought I spoke with you about it. Do you not approve? Oh, son, I want you to be able to do whatever you like, just like how Fudraig went off adventuring, but do you really think the military is right for you? Well, the way I see it, Jurum is capable leader, but I think I could do way better. I also think that if I were the leader of the military section of Irisk, maybe we could expand. Maybe we could take more of these mountains and become an even larger community, a force to be reckoned with. I want Irisk to be strong.
That's fine, but can you fight?
I can fight better than you. I mean,
Bullshit.
you want to go, little bro?
I'll take you on any day of the week.
Huh. Well, I don't want it to be uneven odds with you, so how about tomorrow morning? Please, we don't have to do this. We're family. We should be supporting each other, not fighting amongst ourselves.
If he can hold his own, then maybe this isn't a stupid idea. But if he can't even hold his own against me, then
I don't have to prove anything to you. You're the one that left the family. You can feel a bit of scorn in his voice as he says this. Yeah, that's not how you speak to family, Ilber.
and I have grown strong.
Yeah, and you left your family behind. Boys, please quit. You're upsetting your mother. You look up at your mother, and there's a couple tears in her eyes as she watches you guys argue.
If
Sorry, Mom.
you join the military, I'm not going to stop you. I just want you to be safe.
I understand your concern, but I can take care of myself. I've been doing it since I was put into the mines to work. And he goes back to eating his rabbit stew in silence. After a couple bites, he pushes it forward. You know what? I'm not hungry. I'll be back. And he stands up and walks outside. Ilber, please. The door slams behind him. I do feel bad. I've been so busy with work and things, trying to make sure that Irisk stays on its feet after the whole, you know, us winding up in jail thing. I haven't had time to ask him how he feels about all of that. I had no idea he wanted to join the military, but it sounds he more or less wants to lead Irisk, make it stronger after seeing what those orcs did. That was frightening.
It's not bad motivation.
Oh? What do you think it is?
I mean, it's fine that he would want to lead. I just hope he doesn't do anything stupid.
Oh, same here. I would hate to lose any of you, in all honesty. I feel like I've almost lost you more times than I can count based on your recent adventure, son, but here you are, still with us, and I'm thankful for that every day.
I am too, Father. just gonna go ahead and finish the stew.
Okay, so you finish your stew. You sort of help with the dishes using your mage hand. Your mother seems to be pleased with your trick. It's able to do household chores a little better than you were when you were younger. And then after, a little bit more time spending with your parents, you go ahead and turn in for the night. So go ahead and heal up, gain all your spell slots. As you lay down for sleep, you close your eyes and you're a little tense. You're
No kidding.
understanding that you could have lost your life today. That's the closest you've ever been to dying. And there was absolutely nothing you could do about it. There's nothing your friends could do about it. As you drift into a sleep and the darkness takes you, your eyes open, but you are no longer in your bed. You are in the middle of the mountain pass where you had fought those wolves slash the owlbear slash the bullet slash the basilisk. You're walking towards the center of the mountains, looking up into the sky as you're looking for any signs of this red dragon. You walk a few miles inward until you see a pretty steep cliff to your left, but you notice that there are what looks to be hand grips, as if somebody placed them there under the guise of just regular rock, but they are in fact a ladder, a natural ladder. You decide it's best to climb. You climb for maybe about an hour and a half before you finally reach a plateau that is towering above the mountains, almost to the very tip peak. And once you get up there, you look to your right and you can see the opening of a cave. Something that you know that you can't see from the bottom of this peak. Without a second thought, you walk in. Even though you can't normally see, you're able to see in darkness. You walk forward and you continue to walk before you see the glowing red of what looks like fire in the distance. As you approach this fire, you notice that it is actually magma. You look around and it is a volcanic chamber. You've not really heard many stories of volcanoes in the mountains, although there were legends that when the red dragons grew into a frenzy, that volcanic earth spewed from the mountains themselves, creating even more peaks as well as devastating any nearby settlements. You decide that it's best to seek whatever lies in the middle of this chamber, and you move forward. After seeking or looking for a safe passageway to get deeper into this magma channel, you come across a sort of wooden bridge. You're not sure exactly why there's a wooden bridge right above magma, but at this point you kind of feel that you're in a dream. You walk across the bridge, and there's a large rock in front of you that you would be able to pass on the left or the right hand side. And as you pass it, you come into a nice open chamber, and in front of you, you see almost double the size of the red dragon you saw before, a slumbering red dragon in front of you. Behind it, you see a large mountain of gold with other trinkets fiddled about here and there. It's on a platform about 10 feet above where it lays sleeping. And in front of it, an egg. As you look upon this dragon, you grow fearful. You realize that you're in over your head. You probably shouldn't be here. This is no place for a single dragonborn to be. So you start to back away from this dragon. As you back up, you know you have about 10 feet until you're able to make it to the bridge, but before you hit a wall. But it's not rock, it is scaly. As you turn to look around, the red dragon that you had fought that previous day is looking down at you. I demand tribute. And then it opens its mouth and plunges you into eternal darkness. And you wake up sweating.
Ooh.
That was an intense dream for Drake.
Yep.
This dragon's really got you freaked out, huh?
Sure is big.
Much bigger than Jurum, and he's the biggest of your clan. But I have to say, I have seen bigger.
Of course you have.
Well,
I
I won't
don't
go
even
into
know
the
how big you
details, but
You are.
I've been around for longer than most of these dragons that still live in this world. So you can say I've been around. The dragons nowadays don't have as much freedom as they used to. There are magic capabilities of certain wizards throughout the land that have sort of quelled the beast where they sit, leaving them to slumber for large amounts of time than they used to. Plus, with all the civilizations sprouting up, and there's not as much food for them, so they don't get to the sizes that they normally do. But nonetheless, dragons are very scary, but they can be killed, just like you.
Not you, I guess. Not the
I am
same
a
way.
different sort of thing. Maybe in time I will be comfortable enough to tell you exactly what I am or where I come from. But for now, I am still gaining your trust, as I am sure you are gaining mine.
Right.
At this point, it's a little early in the morning. It's probably about 5:15 in the morning. You're still able to get a full night's rest, although that dragon dream has definitely got you a little shaken up. What would you like to do for the first part of your morning, if anything?
Well, I'm going to check to make sure I have everything.
Like on
Just
your
a-
person?
Everything that I would want to have for walking up to a dragon.
As you look over, you notice that the only thing that you don't have is your ring. I can go ahead and tell you, I saw Jeff take it. That man really likes your ring.
Of course he did. I don't know why.
Well,
I don't know. Did I do something? You remember? I don't think I did anything.
you didn't do anything to him specifically, no. But the ring is pretty powerful. So, yeah, there's no
He's
telling.
worse about. There might be something wrong with him, but
I would probably talk to him directly. Tell him, hey, if we're gonna be a team, I need you to not steal my things. Otherwise, I will make you pay. That's how I would do it.
I don't even know where he is anyway.
Yeah, he's helping with the Siege and his men, but next time you see him, I would probably bring it up. Anyway, shall we be off then?
I guess.
Okay. So,
I'm going to leave. I am going to leave the signal amber from Bellow Lights in my room
with all your green paint?
with all my green paint, yes.
Okay. So you, before you leave, you put down the piece of amber onto your bed.
Yep.
Anything else you would like to do before you set out on your adventure?
No.
Okay. So as you leave your room, you close it. Your father and mother and brother are all sleeping. Your sister, you can hear in her room as well. She is asleep. She was probably at the temple all night, praying for whatever she prays for. You see there is a sort of a small sack left on the table and a piece of parchment next to it.
I want.
You walk over to it and it says, son, be careful. We know that you have been left by your party for a little while and that you probably want to get things figured out. But please don't do anything that you would regret. Love, Mom and Dad. And then there is a little bit of rabbit stew left over, plus your favorite dessert, and a couple other trail rations for your journey. In
Is
the
that
sack.
what's in the sack?
Yes.
Okay.
That was awfully nice of them.
Yeah.
Well, let us go. We got a good hunt ahead of us, that's for sure. Alright, is there anything else you would like to gather in town before you head out?
Is there anyone at the market?
Not at this time, no. Alright, so...
Yeah, I'm not. I don't. I've got nothing.
Cool. Alright, so... As you start to head in towards the mountains, there's just a couple people here and there. Just very few folks that, you know, wake up really early. They go around. Some of them are picking mushrooms in the forest because they're creepy like that. Some folks are at their trade stalls, just sort of getting things set up, cleaning around the area. A couple of the guards are doing their trade shifts and such. And you walk out of the city and start to go on your way. Do you take your horse or do you go by foot?
I'm going to take the horse.
Okay. So you take your horse from the stable, mount up, and head on out. You travel by the familiar road that led you towards the trading area. That's really the only road that you know of. So, as you're making your way into the deeper portions of the mountains, you come upon a familiar mountain pass. At this point, you've probably been traveling for about an hour, so the sun is out. You're able to see fairly well. Go ahead and roll a perception check for me.
Hey. Dost I see anything?
So as you're coming up on this location, you notice that there is, in the center of a road, or the road, a large black, or not large black, a large brown bear. And is currently munching down on the corpse of a wolf. You know that brown bears are typically only attack when provoked. They eat anything that they deem easy enough to kill. But most of the time they actually like to go around and forage through the land. But obviously this bear is pretty far from home. It probably lives on the outskirts of the mountains, but it's pretty deep. It probably wandered in somehow. But it is chowing down on this dire wolf. After a couple moments of you observing this, another bear starts to walk down.
Bear?
Yeah, starts to walk down, and it sees this dire wolf, comes up, and you can hear the grunting from where you're at. You go, The one bear sort of grabs the direwolf's body and tosses it a little closer to the other one, and now they're both eating it. A few more moments pass by, and another bear pops out.
It's a lot of
So once again, it grabs the direwolf and brings it to where all three of them can eat.
I'm going to petition to Burgle in my head. How strong are? Do you know how strong bears are, perchance?
Well, I do not know
These size.
exactly how strong bears are, but I do know that they are weaker than owl bears, and you have bested those in the past.
Seem pretty large.
That is
Three
true.
of them.
That is very true. But we should be able to take them. I would probably leave the horse here. Or you can try to ride past them, your choice.
Seems like a pretty good name for a dragon.
That is true, is it not?
Idea.
Oh, what's your idea?
I am going to use my lute to cast Speak with Animals,
Alright.
which does stuff.
It
I
should
gain-
give you the speech with animals spell, which will allow you to speak to the animals and sort of,
It does that.
yeah.
Read it.
Yeah, so you could talk with the bears. At this moment, you're able to comprehend what they're saying. They're a little far away, so it's a little muffled, but you can hear, "This is the only wolf that we have found. We must find more. Else Archdruid will not be happy. Archdruids show us many ways. Archdruid shows the wolves. Archdruid usually don't like when we eat other animals, though. Do you think Archdruid be mad? Archdruid will know that we were defending ourselves. We fight.
I'm gonna walk up to these bears
All right.
slowly and try to be as non-threatening as possible.
All right. So you hop off your horse and you walk a little closer. Let's see how far. As you get to about right there, this one. Look, dragon. Urgh. Dragon come to take.
I'm not. No, that's. I'm not here to take anything. You can eat the wolf if you want.
Oh, we will eat wolf. What a dragon here. Far from home you are.
I am on a mission. I heard you talking about an archdruid.
Yes, Archdruid come to cleanse land of filthy beasts, such as direwolf. We help.
What other? Interesting. What other beasts are they trying to cleanse the land of?
Anything that spreads necromancy.
So I guess not, say, dragons.
Dragon a little out of control of Archdruid. He would need his friends to take it out. Is Dragon giving you issue?
It's a quite a threat. It's trying to. It wants to take and give nothing back in return.
That is not way of nature. Nature is give and take relationship. Archdruid will not be pleased.
Is there a way I can speak to your archdruid?
At this moment, another bear walks into the fray. If I can get him to size right. He walks over and he. We need Archdruid. Dragonborn want to speak with him. After a moment, you see a shimmer of light happen. And then the bear starts to become a little bit smaller, but not too small. Ooh. Well, now, here's your Archdruid. Not that big, though. Hello, brown bears. I've been looking for you. What happened? Oh, dire bear tried to eat us, so we eat dire bear. I've been around for a long time, and I did not ever see a wolf try to eat me. I remember one wolf named Dagger. He was actually undead, and we became really good friends. So I highly doubt that he tried to do that. But it's okay, you were hungry. Look, a dragonborn. I've met one of you before. His name was Volathor. Do you know of Volathor?
No. It's a
Well,
weird name.
it was many years ago, but he was a good friend to me. He liked eating meat, much like my bears do. Are you able to speak with him? Are you one with nature?
Kind of. I can speak to your bears.
That's very, very, very
That's
good.
how I discovered you. Or your existence.
That is true. My bears said they needed to see me, and I guess that's because you wanted to see me, you know?
It's only for a short time though. But
No matter. He approaches you. Oh, are you scared of bears by chance? Because my name is Nietzsche, and I'm a bear.
hello nature. My name is Fregan. I'm a dragonborn.
As you look upon Nietzsche, he looks a lot smaller than these other brown bears, but also the thing that's got you a little thrown off about him is that he has antlers. He also has a bunch of different like natural like twigs and different shrubbery that he uses as a necklace, and he's got braids with different bones of animals that he has found along his travels, as well as different markings on his face with paint.
You are definitely not like any bear I've seen.
No, I am not. I'm a druid. I used to be a bear like them, and I probably would have grown to be as big as them had it not been for Crowley. The name Crowley rings a bell in your head.
Crowley. Interesting. I know a Crowley. I'm not sure if it's the same one.
Was he a dwarf?
Yes, actually.
Did he have a red beard?
They probably have a red
He
beard.
did have a red beard.
Yes.
Oh, I bet that's the same Crowley that we're talking about. How did you know him?
We traveled together for a time.
Oh, that must have been way before he was called to the World Tree, was it not? And you remember he parted ways
Yeah.
with you because he was called to
There's
the World
this
Tree.
elf guy that came, if I recall correctly.
You do. Oh, you've seen the elf guy too?
Isn't that weird?
Very weird, actually. He doesn't usually leave the World Tree, but, well, I guess maybe he did it because he needed to go and find Crowley and bring him home.
If I may ask, how, it's a little bit off topic and not particularly important, but do you know how long you've been around?
Well, time passes differently at the World Tree, but I was 17 when I was a young bear, probably around 8 years old when I met Crowley, and then I met that Volathor Dragonborn when I was 17, and then I was able to go to the World Tree myself when I was about probably 26, and now I think I'm about 117.
Wow. Okay. Anyway. The thing... Ooh, you're old.
A little
The thing
bit.
that I came out here for was... I'll explain to you. There's a dragon that seems to be only interested in taking and increasing its hoard and eating. Have you seen anything like that recently?
I have heard reports of a dragon, but I'm looking for something far more evil. Have you heard of Nagex?
I think I've seen the Gex.
Ooh, you've actually seen her and you live to tell the tale. That is most interesting. Normally, she kills anything on sight. At least, that's what I've heard.
think I was there when she was reincarnated or reborn or whatever. But
That would make sense. That's probably why she didn't have a way to take you out at the time. But no matter. There's no real need to find her. I'm looking for a creature that she created. It is pillaging, well, not pillaging, but it is spreading a disease across this land, and I'm here to take it out. But
what
I
what
can
kind
help
of
you
creature is
first.
this?
Well, see, I'm not entirely sure. I just know that it's somewhere either in
Does
these
it-
mountains or south of it.
Is it made of flesh?
I don't know, actually. Bears, and your spell hasn't faded just yet, and you can hear them all chime in. Yes, Archdruid. Do you know if the thing has flesh that we're looking for? They kind of seem very confused. Useless. I'm just kidding. He doesn't say that. Anyway, he looks back. No, we have no idea what we're looking for. Only we'll know when we find it. But it's obviously not you. You don't seem to be that bad. So we can help you find your dragon first, and then we can go on our way.
My plan was finding something that I could use as bait for the dragon. I'm not actually sure how to find it. I did have this weird dream though.
Oh?
Yeah, there was some kind of weird ladder around here somewhere.
Well, I don't see a ladder, but I can fly.
Excuse me?
Yes. Well,
Really?
not in this form. Let me show you. And as you look in front of you, a mystical green energy sort of takes his form as he grows into a griffin. And he sort of sits there and shakes his feathers with his great wings behind him. Now, this might seem a little strange, but I'm a pretty powerful druid. So, brown bears, they all chime in.
reasonable.
Yes, Archdruid. If you guys could, go ahead and finish your meal. Don't let anything go to waste. Collect the bones when you're done, because we can use them for something later. I'll be back to come and get you, and we'll go and find our creature. But for now, I'm gonna help this dragonborn. Are you scared of heights?
Not really. Not well. I used to have this ring, but I don't have it right now. And it was a little bit helpful for dealing with heights, but I think I'll.
Very well. Don't worry, if I drop you, I can catch you.
That's good.
Alright, well go ahead and hop on my back then. And you see him sort of duck one of his wings to where it'd make it easier for you to hop on. So, do you know where we're going?
It was well in my dream. The ladder reached as high, well, I guess the peak of the mountain.
The peak of the mountain. I can take you there. It's in the clouds right now, so it might get a little moist. But
Okay.
if
that's
you could, just scoot up to grab around my neck as best you can. That way you don't fall.
He does that. I do that.
Alright, so you go and grab, and then he spreads his wings, and he gives it a couple great flaps, and then he's lifted off the air. This is the first time, I think, that you have ever felt...
Flown?
Felt flight,
Yes.
especially from a creature's back. And as he starts to gain some speed as well as altitude, you are both terrified but also ecstatic at the things that you are feeling for the first time in your life. How fun is it to fly?
This is this is amazing.
Isn't it great? What I like is that I'm able to transform into all manners of creatures. But I can show you that maybe another day after we're done with this dragon. So we're approaching the clouds now. And then he starts to fly up into the clouds. The whole flight probably takes maybe 20 minutes before he finally gets out of the clouds, and he is now to where you can see the peak of the mountain in the distance, probably about half a mile away. But at the peak of the mountain, like, you can see the plateau from your dream, as well as a large cave. That looks
yeah.
very, very, very convenient, does it not?
It's rude.
Is that where you're wanting to go?
Well, that's what was in my dream.
Well, then that's settled. And he starts to fly towards the hole, or the cave. Takes
Now,
him.
nature.
Yes.
Before we do this, there's a dragon, the one I'm looking for, and then there's another one that, at the best case, it's asleep.
Okay, and
at
we
the
will
worst
let it
case-
sleep.
Yes, so we will. The worst case, it's not asleep. Well,
I don't
know,
think we'll
but-
have anything to worry about. I will protect you.
okay.
Worst case scenario, I will sacrifice myself for you, because I can come back. Nature owes me a couple.
Excuse me?
Well, I'm sure
Okay.
you believe in a god or something like that, but I'm here to tell you that they're no more powerful than nature itself.
Alright. We'll go with that.
The worst case scenario is that it takes time to digest my body, and then once I become excrement, I will seep back into the earth just to be reborn again. Probably a little smelly, but that's fine. I've done it before.
Okay. Wow. That's quite something. Anyway.
Yes. So, yeah, as you guys are conversing, he's slowly approaching the cave. So, what is it you're going to talk to this dragon about?
You know what? I haven't given that much thought. I mostly just want my clan to not die. That's probably a good starting point.
That makes sense. I've been looking for my clan all my life, and I still haven't found them. I think I'm in the wrong dimension, though. So, hopefully I can find my mother. That's who I'm most worried about. Anyway, let us continue. He approaches the plateau and lands. Well, I'll transform once you get off.
Alright, I get off.
And then he transforms back into himself. Let me just make sure. Okay. Let me go to here. So you get off, and then let me find. Gotta find my nice. There it is. You get off, and nature sort of follows you, while also kind of like just standing by your side generally. And you guys approach the mouth of the cave. As you walk inside of the cave, you see a corpse of a humanoid figure, but the skeleton resembles that of a human, but you know the human and elven skeletons to sort of be the same. So you're not quite sure what it is. But there is a little knapsack next to it. Roll perception for me. Or roll investigation then.
My scores for that are the same.
Alright, so you go through and you look over the skeleton. You can't really tell what race it is. You just know it is either half elven, or human. You look over its clothing, and it was wearing leather clothing, but it's pretty frayed. You can see giant gashes from what look like dragon claws, as well as a lot of the portions have been burnt to cinders. There are ashes scattered about where this body lies. But the knapsack, the outside of it is charred, but on the inside, as you open it up, you find a pair of goggles inside of them.
Interesting. I examined the goggles.
Okay, so as you're looking over the goggles, they look like something special. As you touch them for the first time, a surge of magic runs through your palms, and you know this feeling. It is a magic item for sure. As you look, the lenses are tinted green, and they are crafted with runes around the lenses.
I put them on.
So you put them on and you sort of blink a couple times, but you're not really sure. Like your vision has sort of cloaked into like a greenish tint. And they feel like they're just right for your head.
Let's see.
As you peer through the cave, the light ends right about here.
Take a few steps forward.
As you take a few steps forward, you notice that even though you couldn't see before, you can actually see the darkness as dim light a little further in.
Now these are something.
What is it you found there?
It's like I found some goggles that bestowed dark vision upon me.
Oh, well, isn't that really neat? I can already see in the dark.
Us Dragonborn aren't very known for having good eyes, so...
Well, that's true. Upon further looking, as you start to take them off, you notice that the leather around them, or you notice the lenses, not only are the runic symbols there, but now that you've thought a little more about it, they almost resemble that of an owl. Look, it's got even a little beak for your little nose. That is quite a nifty find you have there.
It's adorable. Alright.
Okay, well, do you want me to lead the way, or shall we just do it together?
Let's just go together, I guess.
Okay. So as you guys walk through, I'll go ahead and reveal a good portion.
Ooh. Let's see. Do I actually see anything at the bottom with that orange, or...?
No, that's just the background. As you walk forward, you see that there are man-made structures holding up the mouth of the cave, almost as if they were built there to ensure that this cave never collapsed. The monument seems, based on your knowledge, to be made by dwarves.
Okay.
Were you gonna
That
ask
was
something?
my question.
Oh, okay. Crowley
Dwarf.
taught me about masonry a little bit, and this is definitely dwarven work. If there truly is a dragon that lives in here, it seems that not only do the kobolds that you spoke of, actually you didn't speak of them. Never mind. It would seem that the dwarves around here work for this dragon. Although this
I
stone
haven't seen any
has
dwarves.
to. No dwarves.
Not here.
What does live here then?
We have... There are the Dragonborn, the kobolds. Apparently the goblins lived here before.
Interesting.
These mountains. And various other weird animals.
That is quite the plethora of civilizations in the mountains. I wonder what else lives here. Have you ventured through the whole thing?
No, not myself. Wonder what's on the other side as well.
Well, maybe one day you can adventure.
Strange.
If I ever get time, I could adventure with you.
Maybe.
All right, let us continue. You make your
Alright.
way through, and the sound of magma sloshing around starts to become greater and greater. It would seem to be getting a little hot in here. And from this distance, you can actually see quite a bit of the inside. You see the pools of magma as they light up the exterior portions of the cave.
Seems like it would be typical for a dragon. Red
Oh.
dragon, anyway.
I would think so too. Especially because they breathe fire. Why not have a little magma? Make sure not to touch it. I heard it's really hot.
I'll try my best. How it stays hot up here, though.
Well, I don't know much about mountains, but what I do know is that there are magma chambers deep underground that help forge new land. In fact, the only reason we're able to walk on land is because of volcanoes. At least that's what I was taught from Crowley. He said dwarves usually use these types of magma chambers in order to forge their weapons, which is why they're great smiths.
It's interesting.
Very much
Know that
so.
before.
Look at it. It just kind of sits there. Can you imagine? That is just the wall that is behind us. If it gets so hot, it becomes that liquid. I want to try something. You see him reach into his backpack and he pulls out a wooden stick and he throws it into the magma. Immediately after it touches the magma, you can hear it sizzle and then pretty much it be engulfed by the magma in a matter of seconds. That is quite interesting. You watch him as he pulls out a journal, and with his claw, you see him writing on the journal with the tip of his claw embedded in a green magic. The same green magic as he transformed from his animal forms into his normal form.
That's interesting. I started to keep a journal recently myself.
Oh, ever since I became intelligent, I had to, because I didn't know a lot of things, and I've learned so much. Like, did you know that when you do a handshake, you can eventually move it to where it's a bro fist and then fist bump and make it explode?
This is some kind of spell?
No, it's not a spell. It's a symbol of good friendship, as opposed to just acquaintances. Let me show you. And he holds out his hand, and you grasp it, and then you go in for the bro handshake, and then you guys let go of hands and do a knuckle to knuckle, and then you make it explode. And he goes, boom. That's what Thrad taught me.
Huh. Interesting.
Yes, very much so.
Is this Thrad still alive?
I know I haven't seen him in many years, but he's in a different dimension, so probably. Unless he died.
Yeah, people do die.
He was alive and well, and actually the leader of a temple.
Interesting.
So, let us continue. So you start to make your way over this way. Look, a bridge. I wonder how it stays without burning.
That's weird. It's kind of hot in here.
As you approach the bridge to look at it, Nietzsche touches it. It's imbued with magic.
Really, they imbued wood with magic.
Probably to make sure it doesn't burn.
It's wood.
But how else would you get a wooden bridge to stay aloft without burning up? Look, the magma's only 10 feet under.
Ooh. Yeah, I see that.
But if you look to the south, we can go that way. Or we can go north that way. But it looks a little crowded.
You know what? Let's go south.
Very well.
My dream didn't end too well when I went across the bridge.
Did you fall?
No. It's just cornered.
Oh, that's not good.
That one looks like a pizza slice.
I know, I saw that too. Now I want a cheese pizza just because it looks like a nice molten cheese pizza. Alright, once you get to right about here, you notice the rock that you had seen in your dream.
Oh, is it this rock?
Correct.
That looks vaguely like a treasure chest.
Yes, but it is
Really,
not.
really vaguely. I like squint a little bit.
Yeah. From this point, it's a little darker beyond that rock. Too dark for you to see in your current location. Alright, well, it's a little dark over there, so I'm sure what we're looking for is that way.
Let's try to stay quiet.
Very well. Go ahead and roll a stealth check for me.
Sheets.
Okay. So you're walking, and luckily the sound of the magma is able to muffle out your footsteps more than you would expect. Once you get to about this rock, you see in front of you a red dragon, larger than the one you faced the other day, curled up with an egg in between its like sort of neck and its body, and you can hear it sleeping.
Alright, wrong dragon. Wrong dragon. Let's turn around.
You start to back up slowly, and then you hit a wall that was not there before.
Like this. Sure.
Shh. Maybe he won't know we're here. As you sort of turn around, you see the young red dragon that you had fought the day before. This is another dragon. He was quite stealthy, wasn't he?
Sure was.
At this moment, he looks at you, and he sort of lays down as if a cat playing with a mouse, and he looks you in the eye, Fregan. Looks like the Dragonborn didn't have enough.
Hi,
You
I
can call me
noticed
Fregan, although you shouldn't be alive much longer.
yes, about that. I noticed your immense power, yesterday. And I was wondering what keeps you from just taking over the entire mountain.
What do you mean? I don't want to take over the mountain. It is my mountain. If you're alive, it's because I allow it. Now that I know the Dragonborn can trade, you will give me riches. Else, face the consequences.
Alright.
Nietzsche looks up at the dragon. Mr. Dragon, I'm sure you're a great person, but I think there's a little issue with this. You're already getting a lot of stuff from the kobolds, are you not?
I need more.
Well, were you aware that nature is a give and take relationship?
Nature does not concern me. Only shiny things. Power.
Fregan, I don't know much about shiny things or power, so I'll need you to talk to him.
Well, I have shiny things.
In exchange, I will let you leave with your life.
You can see him start to sort of like stand up again, and with every word that he says, a small ember builds up around his mouth.
What do you have?
I have a sack of various coins of shiny metals.
Give me them.
Is it alright if I asked you a few questions?
You've given me much in the past few days. You can have 3 questions. Any more, and I will eat you and your bear.
Do you know of other dragons, perhaps?
I know of me and my mother, Nimra. They call her the Eternal Fire. As for me, I'm Fregan, Fire Breath. Other than that, I've not explored outside these mountains. And I haven't spoken to my mother since I was born. She's been asleep, cradling my younger sibling until it hatches.
Nietzsche looks at you. I've only heard about dragons, but apparently when they lay an egg, they go into a slumber, a very deep slumber, until either one of two things happens. One, the egg hatches, or two, someone touches their treasure.
Don't plan on touching any of the treasure.
If you did, Iris would be destroyed.
Sure, if I did, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. Given your immense power, Sir Dragon.
Fragan.
Sir Fragan.
Just Fragan.
Frag.
Now, second question.
So, assuming that Iris continues trade and paying tribute to you, you will let them live.
Of course, once they've outlived their usefulness, I will make a nice fiery storm rain upon them to encourage a new settlement to come and give me their riches. But until that day, they are safe. I'll have to come down and say hello.
One last question. I get a third, correct, Fragan?
Correct. Go ahead.
What dealings do you have with the goblins?
The goblins. Well, I've never seen a goblin myself, but my mother told me in the brief time that I spoke with her that the goblins sought to kill all the kobolds. She couldn't have that, so she drove them out and then took all of their belongings.
And he points over to her stash, and you can see what looks like a lot of crude weaponry, something that you've seen a lot of the goblin kind have, like little short swords that are dingy, but still valuable when collected as loot.
Why do you ask about goblins? They haven't been seen here in years.
They want to take back their home, apparently.
Do they have a death wish?
They seem pretty confident about it, about their strategy.
And how do they plan to do that? Do you know?
I do.
Well, would you care to share? I'll give you another question if you do.
Interesting. Alright, sure. They are under probably the false belief that they can control either you or your mother.
And how would they do that?
There was a hag that gave them some sort of magical amulet, and she claims that it contains power enough to make you subservient.
Fools. I would like to test this, but I would not want to lose control if that's the case. Do you know where this amulet is or how it works?
I don't know how it is, but I have to assume that it's in their stronghold that connects to the kobold's home. A little bit north of here,
So, from what you can guess, the goblins are probably a little northeast of this location.
Possibly a little bit north, northeast.
Well, if they set foot in here, I will make short work of those little rats.
I don't think they have any.
What kind of magic item is it? What form does it take?
Takes an amulet.
Very well. Tell you what, if you're able to destroy it, or if you're somehow able to procure it and bring it to me, as long as I do not go into a rage and bite your face, I will make it to where Iris is free from paying tribute ever. But only if I have proof of the amulet's destruction.
Or if I bring it.
Or if you bring it to me.
A moment passes as Frederick ponders this. He's thinking about the various dealings he's had with Roz. He's pondering over the abilities that he knows his friends have and how they feel about the entire situation. Remembering how Jeff apparently feels, Sean's seeming indifference. Adam might be actually for this plan, considering it is part of freeing Iris from suffering.
That's a good point. In suffering.
Now that I actually think about it.
Yeah.
Um,
As you're thinking these things through, Bregul comes along into your thoughts. And he offers a fair deal in my eyes. Your town's salvation for a little amulet. If Roz is not capable of giving it up, well, take it by force. Maybe you have to kill all the goblins, but it's either the goblins or your own people. Which would you choose?
Obviously, my own people. You know what, Fregan? I will take your deal.
Good. Now, once the amulet has been destroyed, bring me its pieces. If you are able to procure it whole, we will meet in an alternate location, just in case I do lose my shit.
And he looks at you.
It wouldn't be personal.
Very well.
Now, one final question. Unless you're done, and then you should leave.
What's on the other side of the mountains?
Well, I've only been over there a few times, but there's not that much living creatures, so I don't hunt over there regularly.
You put a interesting emphasis on the word living.
It would seem something's corrupt land.
Nietzsche pikes up. Corrupted how, exactly?
Well, I'm not a magic user, not until I'm full grown. But I would have to say it's that of the undead.
Sure, this
That
sounds
could
like
be
what you're
mixed.
looking for.
That could be something that Negex is doing.
Yes, Nukex.
Well, I think that's where me and my brown bears will go and search after we're done here.
Well, you don't sound like you like Nigex very much. We will be going. Here is your payment of all of the coins I have. Just in general.
Damn. Alright, so you're giving him 200 gold, 76 copper, 86 silver pieces.
Yes.
Alright, so you
As
put
he-
it in a
as
sack.
I think to myself, as I think to myself, I probably get some more money back and seems to really like it when I give him large amounts of coin.
I would say that this would definitely buy your people some time. You put it all, or you take off your money pouch and you sort of open it, and he brings his head to where it's probably about a foot away from yours. You can feel the immense heat coming from his gaping maw as he counts.
1, 2, many to count.
And he sort of holds out his very large clawed, I guess, hand, dragon paw. Paw. We'll go with paw. He holds it out. You said it.
I give it. I say, yeah, I set it on his paw.
Set it on his paw, and he clutches it.
The payment is met. Now leave before I change my mind.
And he sort of moves out of the way as he watches you guys. Nietzsche looks at him. It was very nice getting to meet you, Fregan. Hopefully next time it's under more pleasant circumstances. And he sort of just looks at him. Nietzsche starts to walk forward.
I give Fregan a little bow before I start following Nietzsche very quickly.
Okay. Oop. That was weird. Alright. So at this point, Fregan sort of walks into the dark part to where you can't see. And you can sort of hear him as he is unloading all of the coins that you had previously just given him into the pile. It would seem that he and his mother share a hoard for now. Roll a perception check for me real fast.
Jesus.
So all you were able to really see in that gold pile, besides the shitty weapons that laid somewhat inside of it, but it was a huge, huge pile of gold, platinum, silver, copper. You can guesstimate that it was probably around 500,000 pieces of different various types between the gold, silver, platinum, and copper. But it was a fuck ton of money. You are willing to bet your best magic item that there's probably other items that are in that as well that you would be interested in getting if you were able to defeat a dragon. But you know, as of right now, there's no way that you could take on a dragon, let alone two, especially with one of them about to be hatching. Once you enter start to exit the cave, Nietzsche looks at you. Well, I get what you were saying. That was fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
I felt
They're
like I
huge,
could have
aren't
been,
they?
yes, I could have been eaten at any moment, and I'm a large bear.
Anyway.
He is noticeably 1.5 feet at least taller than you.
Yep.
Well, I'm a turn into a griffin now, and then we can fly on back down to where my brown bears are. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Hey. Okay, we can start flying.
Yeah.
Just-
So you guys get outside, and then he starts to take off. He kind of does like a little nosedive down into the clouds. When he emerges from the bottom side, he levels out. That way you can see a lot of the mountains.
Yippee! Hey,
Yes,
Nietzsche.
quite fun.
What I would have tried asking him this while we were
Yeah.
flying, but Nietzsche, I feel like we've gotten a lot closer since we've both stared down the dragon that could have eaten us at any moment. I feel comfortable asking you this, but have you heard of a organization called Bellow Lights?
Bellow light. Do they have anything to do with the world tree? Based on your
it might.
information, you highly doubt that they have anything to do with the World Tree.
Probably not. They're just sort of. I think they're just basically against Negex.
Well, I don't know who Negex is, really. I do know that she has a big reason for tainting the land, or she is the big reason for tainting this land, but I've never met her myself. So if they're out to get her, then they are allies of mine.
I was just wondering. They pop up in weird places.
I could ask Crowley for you. He's been around for much longer than I have.
I know them.
But the next time I see you, I don't know when that will be. I do plan to go and check out the corruption that the dragon, Fregan, was saying is in the northwestern portion of the mountains. But I do know, I have a good sense that it's somewhere in the south that I am actually looking for.
Oh, nature.
Yes,
You're a druid.
correct.
Have you ever seen anything like this? And it's at this point where Drake like shows him his ears.
Oh, you have the rabbit curse, don't you?
Curse.
Well,
And
there's a magical concoction that makes makes carrots into magic. And the thing is, if anything besides a rabbit eats them, well, they start to slowly become a rabbit themselves.
just
So,
like an entire rabbit.
well, eventually it would take plenty of carrots, probably about 5 pounds of carrots to do so, but yes.
Like,
How many carrots did you eat?
I ate one.
Just one. That seems about right to get rabbit ears. They look cute on you.
If I don't eat any more of the carrots, will I be fine?
Oh yes. But the
I don't
rabbit ears won't go away until you dispel the magic.
I really don't mind the rabbit ears right now anyway, but I just don't want to be a rabbit.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, you're a dragonborn. To become a rabbit would be, well, it'd be a pay cut,
you-
that's for sure.
Well,
Well, if you want, let me think real quick. I think I could get rid of them for you if you'd like.
really.
Only if you would like. Otherwise, you said you don't mind them, right?
You know what? Yeah, let's go ahead and get rid of them. If we can.
Okay. Well, go ahead and have a seat.
I pop a squat.
Okay. He puts his two bear claws together. Sort of like almost as if he's praying, but you know he's not religious. He sees nature as the only god or goddess, even though nature is not in itself a being. And he starts to mutter some words in between his palms, or his paws, and an orb of green light starts to emerge. And as he begins to chant and more, he reveals his paws, and then he sort of holds them out, and his paws change to human hands for a moment.
Whoa.
It's a little weird, I know, but this is my shape-changing spell. He reaches in front of you and sort of grabs your head, almost as if in a romantic film he was about to kiss you, but you know he doesn't have that intent. And then he slowly starts to work his way towards from the base of the ears all the way up. Once he hits the very tip, he sort of snaps his fingers and they start to vanish from the top all the way to the base of your head. And then he sort of shakes his hands and they become bear claws or bear paws again. I never really liked having opposable thumbs. Felt weird. But your ears are gone.
And Frederick like feels around, feels them a bit. Well, yeah, that's sure is something.
Yes, it's pretty neat.
Well, thank
Well,
you for that.
You're welcome.
I will. You know, if you need any help, I'm not that terrible of a fighter, but
Me
I'll
and my
be in
bears should be
Iris.
able to take out anything that gets in our way. Well,
okay.
Maybe if a dragon came by, that wouldn't be too good. But I'm sure we'd find a way. The bears kind of look over. No, no. No dragon's going to eat you. I won't allow it. So, what do I call you?
My name is Fregan.
For Drake. It's very nice to meet you. Hopefully, you can pass on the name of Nietzsche. That way, people aren't as scared of bears.
Well, it's lucky that I was the one to see you guys. Had it been anyone else, they might have ran screaming in terror.
Well, that's better than them trying to fight my bears and finding out that they would never die. Well,
Never? Wow.
not as long as I have anything to say with it. Right, bears?
Right. I think to break goal immediately. Ha! That is... Oof.
Yes,
hear
it
that?
this druid seems to be quite powerful. A very good ally had we ever need him.
Well, that would be very, very useful in the
Yeah.
future.
Now, I need to get going. I got to find this corruption as fast as I can. Keep it from spreading. I will start in the northwest since it's the closest, and then I will head south. So, if I ever meet you again, hopefully it's with your companions. That'd be fun to meet.
Teacher, do you have a way to contact you? Just out of curiosity.
Do you have... Actually, hold on. He starts to rummage through his pack, and he pulls out a seed. He puts the seed in your palm, and then he whispers a word after touching the seed, and it sprouts. Crowley showed me this trick, but it only works in limited times. So, you won't be able to contact me, but I should be able to contact you. I will feel when you are in need of advice. Or, if I'm in the area, I could come to your aid, maybe. But, and he looks at you with a very stern look, don't depend on it, unfortunately. I'm not always on this dimension.
I wouldn't.
I just don't want you to go in over your head hoping that I'll come to save you. You are a good
That would
friend.
be- That would be silly.
Now,
Crowley did this thing once.
oh, that's right. Crowley did tell me that he gave a similar seed to an orc. I've never met an orc before. No, wait. Thrad was a half-orc, wasn't he? Was Dravorkin, I think that was his name, was he a half-orc?
Yeah, he was a half-orc.
Ooh.
Human orc.
Is he still alive?
He's actually doing very well for himself last I heard.
How
He's the
so?
leader of his clan.
That is wonderful. I'll tell Crowley that should bring a smile to his face.
Well, nature, I'm going to go back home.
Okay. Well, you be safe now. I don't think that dragon's gonna
Try
bother
my
you
s-
for a while. You made a good payment.
Sure hope I did it 4 times as much as I gave him last time.
That should be well enough. Well, until our paths cross again, you have a good one.
To nature.
He starts to walk away before you see the green shape start to take form. And then he transforms into a brown bear just like the ones that are in front of him. And they all sort of let out a like a unison roar as they start to make their way down the path, leaving you by yourself.
Wow. This
That
world
was quite
is
something, huh?
fucking weird.
Very much so. You found a bear, let alone 4 bears. One of them could fucking talk.
And fly and
And that
do
is the power of a
magic,
druid, is
do
it not?
curses and. All right, I've had enough for today. Going home.
Okay. So go ahead and roll a perception check for me. While you're doing your
Perception,
travels.
That was. That's perception.
So on your way, you notice that the pack of wolves that usually hang out in this area are nowhere to be seen. and you get the faintest idea that it's probably Nietzsche and his pack of bears that had something to do with that. And it brings a smile on your face for a moment as you make your way back to Irisk.
And I take poor slaves.
Once you return back to home, it's still the same day. It's about mid-afternoon. And once you return to the town center, you see in the town center, your compatriots have returned.
Hey, my compatriots. My compatriots.
Jeff comes up to you and he says that Sysiege and his men have landed to the northern portion of the mountains, and that they wanted the whole party to join them at the location where they first met the Red Dragon. That is where they have agreed with the goblins to meet up.
Interesting. Okay.
And with that, we will end tonight's session. I'm gonna go ahead
Yay.
and heal all these dudes real fast. Give them all their max HP. Yeah, doing a one-on-one session's not bad. That was pretty fun. I was thinking, yeah. Kinda, maybe if you made the wrong move or something.
I mean, I didn't want to die then. In
Oh,
some
I
random
wasn't-
ass cave.
I wasn't planning on killing you, if that's what you're thinking. I mean, there's always ways that you as a player could make it to where you just, instantly
Fuck up.
die, because maybe you walked in and he's like, what are you doing here? And you're like, I came to kill your mom. And then you're like, okay, bye. And he kills you. I mean, that'd be
And dead.
logical. Yeah.
That's,
And then it'd be,
that's
well,
not
that's the end of
something
tonight's.
Drake would
Yeah.
do.
That's the end of tonight's session.
Oh yeah, you see this tabaxi. But you don't see for Drake.
That would be quite funny.
It'd be terrible.
I think it'd be more interesting when the party got back together to be like, so, like, to report the news on, yeah, he kind of.
Well, the thing
gone.
is, if he died where he was just now, then there's
No
no
one
way the
would
party
get any of that
would
information.
Well, I
know.
mean, like, well, no, yeah, I mean, like, if they somehow got the news, like,
Yeah.
he went off.
He went off on his own, and we haven't seen him since. Well, that's not good.
I mean, theoretically. Let's see. Is that possible? Would it have been possible
then,
for my character to follow?
But I mean, like, the out of character, like, why aren't you with us? Can't tell you, it spoil things.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
sure would.
For Drake's gone, y'all should have been at last week's session, but whatever.
All of you. Every single one of you were gone.
Alright, I'm going to end my stream real quick. Be right back. Alright, everybody. Hope you had a good old time, and until next time, peace!